The Krythax hunting pack moved through the twisted metal corridors of the derelict station like shadows given fangs. Their scales rippled with bioluminescent rage patterns, crimson and gold, the colors of blood debt. Somewhere in this abandoned human outpost, their cubs had been taken. 3 days of tracking. 3 days of cold fury building in Aliana's chest as she led her pack deeper into enemy territory. The human scent grows stronger, growled Vex, his claws scoring marks in the walls. Fresh, he's still here. Aliana's ridge crest flared. Humans, the galaxy's newcomers, who had burst onto the interstellar stage barely 2 generations ago with their chemical rockets and foolish bravery. They took what they wanted, colonized without permission, and now, apparently, stole Krythax young for whatever barbaric purposes their primitive minds conceived. The pack had voted unanimously. The human would die screaming. They rounded the final corner into what had once been a cargo bay. Emergency lighting cast everything in sickly amber. And there, in the center of the room, sitting against a supply crate with his eyes closed, was the human male, James. He wore the tattered remains of a maintenance uniform, his pale skin marked with cuts and burns. But that wasn't what froze Aliana mid-stride. Her killing claws extended. It was the cubs. All 3 of them, Kessa, Vorn, and little Tika, were curled against the human's chest, asleep. Their small bodies rose and fell with peaceful breathing, tucked under the human's arms like they belonged there, like they were safe. The pack fanned out, weapons raised, confusion rippling through their threat displays. Vex's growl turned uncertain. The human's eyes opened, blue eyes impossibly bright in his bruised face. He didn't reach for a weapon, didn't move at all except to glance down at the sleeping cubs pressed against him. "Don't," James whispered in perfectly accented Krythaxian. "Please, they just fell asleep." Aliana's mind reeled. The human spoke their language, the sacred tongue that took years to master, that required 3 separate vocal cords. This creature had learned it. "You stole our young," Aliana hissed, though her claws remained frozen in place. Something was wrong. Everything about this was wrong. "No," James's voice cracked. "No, I found them. 3 days ago, when the station's life support failed, they were trapped in a collapsed section, scared, calling for their mother." His eyes found Aliana's. "Calling for you." The memory hit her like a plasma bolt. 3 days ago. The station quake. The emergency evacuation. The panic when she'd realized too late that the cubs had been exploring the lower levels, and the bulkheads had sealed. The evacuation alerts were in human languages only, James continued softly, careful not to wake the children. "I was doing repairs when I heard them crying. Took me 8 hours to cut through." The temperature was dropping. They were so cold. Tika stirred, making the small chirping sound she made when she dreamed. James's hand moved instinctively, gently to steady her. The gesture was so natural, so protective, that something in Aliana's chest twisted. "I tried to get them to the escape pods," James said, "but the bay was depressurized. Doors were fused. I got them here, got the emergency heat working, found some rations they could eat." He smiled sadly. "They were so brave. Kept asking when their pack would come. I told them their mama would find them, that the Krythax never abandoned their own." "Why did you stay?" Vex demanded, his weapon wavering. "Your kind evacuated, left this station to die." "Because they're children," James said simply. "Because they needed someone to stay, to tell them stories, to keep them warm, to—" His voice broke. "To make sure they weren't alone if the air ran out before rescue came." Aliana understood then. The burns on his arms from forcing the heat units to operate beyond safety limits. The cuts from tearing through debris to reach them. The exhaustion written in every line of his face, from staying awake for 3 days straight, keeping watch while the cubs slept. This human had been willing to die so that her children wouldn't die alone. Slowly, Aliana lowered her claws. She approached and James tensed but didn't move, wouldn't risk waking the cubs. She knelt beside him, close enough now to see the tears tracking down his face. "I'm sorry," James whispered. "I tried to keep them safe." "I tried—" "You did," Aliana said softly. She reached out and James flinched, but she simply placed her clawed hand over his, the pact sign for gratitude, for honor debt. "You saved them." She carefully lifted Tika, feeling the warmth still in her daughter's scales. Behind her, Vex and the others began gathering the other cubs, their earlier rage transformed into something else, Something like shame. James slumped as the weight was lifted from him. 3 days of terror finally released. Are they? Will they be okay? Yes. Aliana helped him stand, supporting him when he stumbled. Thanks to you, you have earned something rare, James of humanity. You have earned the protection of a Krithax pack. I don't understand, James said. Aliana's ridge crest flared, not in anger now, but in respect. It means you are pack now. It means no Krithax will ever hunt you. It means that when humanity needs us, we will remember this day. She met his eyes. It means you are not alone either. As they made their way to the rescue ship, Kessa woke in her mother's arms. The cub looked back at James and chirped, the sound of recognition, of trust. Bye, story giver, she called in her small voice. James waved weakly, and Aliana saw the way he smiled, despite everything. This strange, fragile human who had proven what the galaxy was only beginning to learn. Humanity didn't survive by being the strongest or the fastest. They survived by refusing to leave anyone behind, even someone else's children, and